I mean, who starts the intro?
That's Jojo,
Are we going now?
Yeah, we're going now.
Woo!
Yeah, bitch.
We back.
Absolutely hyped.
Yeah, you can finally speak now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was the most awkward silence I've ever had in my life. At least I didn't belch this time.
Yeah, that's true. This is like the second time we've had to do the intro.
Because of me, and I'm a dirty pig.
Rob's
Dirty
finally in
bastard.
control of his body.
Sorry, man.
Well,
I've just had a pig in blanket sandwich. I'm not going to lie.
Pig in blanket sandwich.
Mate, it was immense.
Wow.
Get yourself down to Asda, £2.15.
Ooh,
Other sausage sarnies are available.
That would change my life.
cheeky
I
ass.
think.
The
We
plug
need
right
a
there.
cheeky ad in there. That was your first ever ad on this show.
Yeah, if only we
There
could
you go.
actually get sponsorship.
Should we talk about films now?
As the hit.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to Radioactive Screen. I mean, if you've heard the podcast before, we talk all things film and TV. Unfortunately, Sam couldn't be here this week again. So we have Young Sceptic,
Woo!
also known as Rob.
And
we have JC himself again.
Yes,
Yes.
the prophet, JC.
Praise
The prophet.
him.
Oh, he's upgraded himself.
Yeah.
The prophet known as Black Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Black Josh last week, so might as well just keep
Basically-
JC, the prophet.
In terms of flying, what you've got here is you've got the Emirates in Josh, and you've got Ryanair over here in the corner.
I didn't know where you were going there with Emirates. I was like, okay, we're going airlines now.
So what airline would I be?
Sorry, mate, you went past.
EasyJet.
Thomas Cook. Too soon.
I mean, according to my mates, Turkish Airlines.
Ah, yeah, I like
Cute
it.
Turkish.
Not
Okay.
Turkish,
There's a bit of turkey in him.
Because what?
There's a bit of Turkish in you. Turkey.
You like a bit of stuffing.
Yeah,
You know, no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, and I'm Josh, because I don't think I actually introduced myself.
Yep.
So, we'll just jump straight into the news that we've got this week. Indiana Jones 5 is set to start shooting in April, as confirmed by Harrison Ford.
Hyped.
Hyped? Really?
I
think
I'm always hyped for anything new Indiana Jones. Obviously, the last one wasn't great, but I'm always interested.
Like, I kind of think I should just reboot it at this point if I want to do anything more with it.
Yeah.
It's Disney, so obviously they're going to try and do as much as they can with a franchise. But I think it's at the point where he's like 70. It's Harrison Ford. He probably needs to like kind of rest the mantle a bit
Yeah.
and let someone younger take it over, like Shia LaBeouf.
I think that they were kind of trying to do that in the fourth one, like passing of a torch, that soft reboot that really didn't do well. So probably this time around, they probably should have just done a full-on reboot.
Yeah, Crystal Skull was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Is it just me who's like never seen Indiana Jones? I've never fancied it.
Just you.
Is
I've
it
literally never fancied it.
not on your list?
Never took my fancy. Although Shia LaBeouf takes my fancy when he goes, just do it.
Shia LaBeouf.
That was great acting.
It wouldn't in Indiana Jones 4.
No.
Like, Shia LaBeouf would not take your fancy because he was terrible.
Was he? So I'm guessing he played Indiana then.
No, he played...
Mate,
what?
like,
Wait,
literally-
what?
That's
Never
definitely
seen
a
it.
confirmation that
Never
you've never
seen it.
seen this film.
I like how I just started talking as if that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
He's playing Indiana.
It's not
mate.
like James Bond where there's a new Indiana each time. It's Harrison Ford
Okay.
is the one and only.
He's just the guy. He is the one and only.
Yeah.
He is the one and only. Shia LaBeouf coming soon.
No, he plays Indiana Jones' son.
Okay.
I remember his name, like the character's name, like
I don't know, Sam
Indy
Witwicky.
Jr. or something.
I'm getting it mixed up with Transformers now.
Oh gosh,
Another terrible franchise. But
Oh.
apparently they are rebooting. Probably needs to happen at this point.
I didn't watch the recent one where there's like the
Bumblebee.
Yeah,
Yeah, apparently it was good. I never saw it either.
it's a good IP. Like they can do bits with it if they really like properly go.
Have
to
you
what it
played
is.
any of the Transformers games?
No.
So there's
No.
War for Cybertron and I think it's Fall of Cybertron.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those games are based completely on Cybertron. So there's
Yeah.
no humans in it or anything. It's all about the
That's what they need
Transformers
to
and
do.
Decepticons. Yeah, I think that's where they need to go in it. At least do one film just of the war on Cybertron,
Yeah.
essentially. Because
It's a hard sell though for studios to do that.
yeah, I guess having like no humans in it at all.
I'm sure.
So it's basically an animated film.
Yeah,
I feel like some films are
they
made
can do it though.
just based on the amount of merch you can sell. Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
I've never
absolutely.
seen Transformers, but everybody's had a Transformer car or something like that.
There's a film coming up on the podcast that's like totally
Just
about
purely merch. So basically, the thing that I'm sort of going to plug in this podcast, which you guys will probably fully disagree with,
plug,
is the fact that if you don't like something, stop buying the merch. I've made that mistake with Transformers.
I mean, merch is merch. You know, if it's a good T-shirt, I'm gonna buy that shit.
Yeah, see, HMV almost went bust, but then everyone started buying T-shirts.
Yeah, I'm a bit different on that. Like, if I'm not a fan of a franchise, I'm probably not going to buy the merch. Like, I'm not a massive fan of Transformers, but the older stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
If it's all about just for Transformers and not the humans, I'm interested. Because the worst part about those films were the actual humans.
Humans, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg playing a guy called Cade Yeager, and it's his daughter's boyfriend, who's basically a paedophile.
Yeah.
And
maybe Michael Bay just doesn't write good characters anymore.
He doesn't.
That sounds really bizarre. Although Cade Yeager sounds like a fantastic drink brand, so I might well write that one down and create a blend.
That's not bad, actually.
Do you want a Cade Yeager? Yeah, go on then, mate. That sounds posh.
I don't know. I feel like Jägermeister might have the...
yeah, it does sound like a cheap Jäger bomb kind of rip-off.
Yeah, all right, fairs. I'll sell it for £1.
I mean, it doesn't sound bad.
I mean, I'd drink it.
I'd drink it. I'd drink anything. So
yeah, that's true.
You know, anything.
Anything.
Ooh.
Ring of Fire. He's like, I don't even care if I didn't get the Last King. I'm down in the dirty
like, I'm
pint.
thirsty. Give me that shit.
Now, I never actually play Ring of Fire, if I'm honest. Because one time I lost a phone because I got too drunk playing a game.
Fuck.
Never
again.
Drinks. So never getting drunk
never
again.
That shit.
No, never again.
Never again.
I don't drink again. I'm a nun.
I draw the line
he
at
just drinks
drinking.
water. Holy water.
From JC himself.
Ooh. Yeah, I produce a lot of that stuff, so hit me up.
70% water.
Guys, stop buying the merch. Stop buying the merch.
But yeah, I agree with you that a lot of times films are just made because of the merch that they sell. It's the whole reason that Disney is still making Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Because they want to sell merch. And the reason that they were disappointed with The Last Jedi is because the merch sales weren't that great.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Like,
It's what's sad, isn't it? That's what films are now. They're literally just...
It's the add-ons. Like, that's what people think about it. And it kind of has killed some really good films. Like, when people have gone back and remade Aladdin because the merch is drying up.
I mean, that's what Martin Scorsese called it, like these kind of theme park films where they're just... The film is one thing, but this like 10% of whatever sales they're going to make off the film, which is already like crazy to think that like $1 billion film, they're going to make millions and millions more on merch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why like their theme park in like the US, the Star Wars theme park wasn't doing very well, and it was very like it's kind of a shock for them to see that Star Wars, such a big franchise, isn't doing as well as they had hoped.
And you've got so many films that like on the spot advertising. So for example, they will blatantly just put a Coca-Cola in the background, and someone will have paid to have that there in that spot.
I like
as part
or
of the thing.
in Game of Thrones, just a
Starbucks cup. I was thinking about that. I'm going to start a conspiracy right now that was not an accident, and Starbucks paid a lot of money for that.
Nah. Apparently it was just an extra or something, wasn't it? They just left it.
Yeah. It's just that I'm sure they had like multiple takes of that scene.
Yeah, how did no one notice?
God.
How is it they didn't set up the camera and go, there's a Starbucks cup right behind her? Let's maybe move that.
Nah.
I can see how it happens.
I mean, they probably started filming and were like, should we get rid... Nah. Let's just
No
leave
one
it
will
in.
notice that.
We don't have enough time.
I can't reach.
Does that not say to an extent like how much people are critiquing films these days?
No, because if it's a Starbucks cup and they have legitimately missed it off,
it's not good.
I'll give you a point that films are more scrutinized now.
Yeah.
Maybe in more detail.
Yeah, I think they are.
Still, man, just move the cup. Like,
yeah.
I think maybe films being scrutinized more isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I think when it goes overboard and becomes toxic, that's when
I
it
agree.
becomes bad.
You should never like overly knock something to the point where you obliterate it, because someone will appreciate it somewhere.
Again, with like Rose Tico in The Last Jedi,
Yeah.
Kelly Marie Tran, because everyone basically bullied her on social media, so she deleted all her accounts.
Yeah.
At the end of
It's
the day,
horrible,
you can
honestly.
only be as good as the part you're given, and in any job, you do what you get told to do. Let's leave it at that, and
Pretty much,
don't overdo it, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm scrutinizing people who scrutinize films on a film podcast that scrutinizes films.
Mm.
Yeah.
Juxtaposition.
Yes.
Just thought I'd get that word in there somewhere.
You just love that word, don't you?
I just, like, literally, the amount of times I've said that out of context is ridiculous.
Ugh. So, while we're on the topic of Star Wars, I guess, the Rogue One prequel series about Cassian Andor is set to film this year. It's just...
Yeah. Meh.
So, as a massive Star Wars fan that you two kind of are, like, particularly you, Simps, like, do you think that Star Wars, you've got to the point where you're like, actually, I don't want any more films, I just want to appreciate it as it is?
I'd say as long as what they're putting out, the quality's there, then I'm happy with more stuff. Every time a new Star Wars project's announced, I'm still excited for it. But it's stuff like this Cassian Andor series, I don't think we need it.
Sounds like Love Island's Casamera. I'm like, what's this?
Casamera.
Casamera, yeah. No, the thing is that I think I've seen Rogue One. I've not seen every single Star Wars, to be honest, boys. I haven't. But even watching Rogue One, like, I was in there with a bunch of Star Wars enthusiasts who weren't too enthusiastic when they came out. And I didn't think it was that good.
Rogue One.
I thought Rogue
One was
good.
Yeah, I thought those were probably the only ones I can say I properly, like, really enjoyed of the new films, at least. It's hard to say.
No, because I really enjoyed Force Awakens.
Those two are the only ones that I can be like, I can actually rewatch those two. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to rewatch Episode 9 yet. I don't know how. I think I saw twice in the cinema. But other than that, I don't think it would have that rewatchability like that Rogue One does, like, and Force Awakens does.
Rogue One for me is one that I've watched. I think I watched it a couple of times in the cinema and a couple of times on like Blu-ray and that. And I can't really watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Because... I don't know, it's just every time I just feel like this is filler and we don't need this. And this is the thing with this new series. It's filler. It's really not necessary. This is kind of my argument with the Obi-Wan series as well. Because as much as I think it's going to be good, I don't think we need it.
Yeah.
I think Disney should give us like new characters that we can focus on. Which is why I really want an Old Republic series.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I think they need to give us something that we can
something new.
To freshen up and to follow and to like be consumed by, like, with the characters. Like, Cassian Andor is a new character. Really didn't do much in Rogue One. I mean,
he was very one-dimensional.
Yeah, he was sort of just like, I've been through a lot, like, don't talk to me.
And I guess this will flesh his character out more, but I don't think we need it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we know what happens to him in the end.
Yeah.
But I think, like, listening to you two, one of the most sort of like fascinating things about it, and to be honest with you, listen to any Star Wars fan, the fact of the matter is, in the beginning, sort of like 4 movies or whatever, the graphics or whatever could have been improved, the CGI or anything like that, and it gave you guys room to imagine more. Whereas now, I think everything's at top spec and has gone to the limit of your imagination. And I think quite a lot of Star Wars fans struggle because you guys always refer back to the first 4 films somewhere and go, oh, this is where I'd have gone, that's where I'd have gone. Is it the fact that they've just improved CGI and everything else and now you can't imagine the next part?
No. I don't know. I don't think so. I know what you mean, though. It's a good argument. Like,
I think people always go back to the first 3 because they're the ones that are held in high regard. And with this latest trilogy, they kind of prove that they didn't really have any idea of where it was going to go from the outset. Going back to like what you said about Rise of Skywalker and rewatchability, I think it's one that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Because I watched it twice in the cinema, and I really don't know if I can watch it again anytime soon.
Because I honestly think that...
Because it's one of those films that the more I think about it, the more holes I'm seeing. And it just makes it a worse film for me.
Yeah, like if I watched it again, I think I would just cringe at some of the storylines and just
speed.
Realize that they probably they made episode 7, 8, and then they saw the reaction to 8, and was like, oh shit, we need to wrap this shit up quickly, like make some quick money, sell some merchandise. Oh shit, we can't really sell merchandise because nobody's buying it, and the story and the characters just was like on the wayside. Like they could have avoided all of this. That's what annoys me. Like they could have just sat down for a year, plan out the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They buy so many films. Like Disney's an incredible, from a business point of view, it's an incredible business, to the fact that I don't know of a business that is more in debt than Disney, that somehow continually takes on franchises because their brand name is stronger than the debt they're in. But they do need to keep proving that they can create X amount of revenue. So they have the tendency now to rush a lot of their decisions through, and sometimes don't make the right decisions. Like, people don't know, but Disneyland Paris almost never got created because they were in that much debt. It almost never happened. Like, yeah, you know.
I wouldn't say the company with the highest revenue is probably in debt. It's the upkeep of the parks and everything.
Yeah.
That's going to be hemorrhaging money, to be honest.
Well, so basically, they borrow against their name brand. And like Netflix are doing at the moment.
No, I think at this point, Disney do not have to borrow anything.
No.
And that's why they bought Fox for what, like 27 billion or something?
I think
they have
financially they'll always be all right. Like, they're like, for the last 2 years, I think Disney as a studio have been making, their films have grossed the most over a year. In the last 2 years, I think, they one of their, greatest, biggest acquisitions, Marvel, like, that's always going to do well. But
Marvel,
I think the difference between, Marvel and Star Wars, but the difference between those two is that you have like a producer that's actually like a fan, you know what I mean, that can actually understand the audience and can produce films on that and create and build talent around.
Yeah, I get what you
know
mean, because for the MCU at least, you've got Kevin Feige basically producing them all, and he has a clear-cut direction of where it's going to go.
Exactly.
I think you've got, to be honest with you, I think, because it is a place with a net worth of £130 billion, Disney, you've got a situation there where you've got a company that literally wants to make money. That's the business aspect. And you've got people within there that are very passionate about films, which is great. But I think they need to have a look at it. For me, they're churning out films at the minute that everybody's blatantly going, you want the merch, you want the money, where's the passion? And I think there's a lot of that in Disney at the moment. That's a problem. I'm not knocking them because they've got passionate people in there who are doing a fantastic job. But for me, money's talking louder in Disney than the worth of creating a quality picture.
I don't know. I think in certain cases, like the MCU, there's still the passion there. With like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, I think it does kind of show a bit of, we'd rather make money than a really good film, because I can't remember his name, the director.
Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, Scott Derrickson. He wanted to make a horror film, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think Disney must have gone, no, you can't do that, because we market films to kids, and how are they going to buy the merch?
We need to make this film at least PG-13. Broaden up that audience.
Some moral factors
Sell
are in
that
there.
Merch. It's such a fine line, and it's really hard to just say they want money and that's the only thing. Because I feel like it really it's definitely not untrue that what you're saying about them being financially driven, but there needs to be a balance between that creativity and letting the creatives, dictate things.
Give them a bit of room to breathe, essentially.
Yeah, otherwise you're just...
But a massive studio like Disney is not going to do that, because they want to make sure that their projects are going to make money.
Yeah.
And money from merchandise, like you say.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to make money. I mean, that's why... But I suppose in these... podcasts, I'm sort of sat back as a person, as I said in the last one, who watches a film and goes, that was good, that was bad, doesn't really overthink that too much, just loves it or doesn't love it for one or another reason. But I guess I'm just asking the questions that are on people in my boat's minds to get more of a clear-cut perspective on it. And it's quite interesting that there are people within Disney who are that level of passionate.
Absolutely, there will be, yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
I've learned a lot there. Like I have done.
Whatever happens with this, bringing it back to Cassian Andor, like whatever happens with it, I'll always check out anything Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I think I'm just gonna just scrutinize it. Like I can't. You need to give me a reason to continue with it. And if there's nothing there that is anything that I can sort of like grasp onto and enjoy and like connect with, and it's just another like, churn machine, then I just need to like, I need to just avoid it, because I can't just like keep just mindlessly watching shit like that.
Yeah, like I've had this conversation with Sam on a previous episode of a podcast, and he basically said that he's one of those Star Wars fans that will go see it because it's Star Wars, and he'll maybe view it under the light of, it's Star Wars, so I have to give it the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm kind of a one that's like, yeah, it's Star Wars, but is it good?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of person that's gonna basically pick holes in it and find the bad points. I think to an extent he's changed slightly after Rise of Skywalker, because coming out of it we both said, oh, it's a good film. It's a lot better than The Last Jedi. And now that we've had time to think, we've both gone, actually,
it's not a good film.
It is better, but there are a lot of holes and things we don't like.
Yeah.
Like, the annoying thing, man, is that The Rise of Skywalker was an apology for The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And Colin Trevorrow's original script for Episode 9 was basically a continuation of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But it sounded so good.
It
made Coruscant like the main centre for the battle, essentially.
Yeah. I feel like whatever you want to think about Episode 8, I think sometimes you just need to accept what you've done and just run with it and find something from that you can...
It probably still sold a bit of merch, so that's all right.
Probably their mistake was to bring back JJ, because he's always going to want to build on what he's already done in Episode 7. He's always going to want to do that.
I guess, in a way.
I love nothing
like
taken away from JJ, though.
Yeah. Like I say, they should probably follow the MCU thing of having a producer or a director seeing it through. Like, we've got Kevin Feige to do a trilogy, I think. So he'll be producing that. And I'm excited to see what comes of that, because there have been Old Republic rumours, which, if that comes to fruition... Oh, mate, yes.
It's just like Star Wars is like your football team.
Tickles
like when I watch York City and I'm like, right, we've signed this good player, we're going to be fine now. But you still support it no matter what. And I think that's the thing with Star Wars. You'll always have brand loyalists within Star Wars and that franchise, whereby you'll never give up. Even if you see something that is god awful, and you're like, right, this has definitely gone down the pan now, you'll still watch the next one because you'll be brand loyal and you'll be hoping for more. And I think a lot of Star Wars now is gone from optimism when they first started doing the films to just hope. Everyone's hoping that it works out. But within Star Wars,
I guess you could say we need a new hope.
There's so much debate, though, isn't there, within Star Wars fans factions? Like what you're saying now, you could debate for 2 days with Star Wars fans.
Well, I'd always say that the biggest Star Wars critics are the fans.
Yeah. 100%, yeah.
Because the fans are the ones that know all about the expanded universe and everything like that. And they're the ones that will go, no, you should have just gone with this plot point instead.
Yeah.
You'll never make everyone happy in that franchise.
No.
Never. It's really interesting.
It's impossible to make everyone happy with anything.
Yeah. It's strange, isn't it, that you'll never have a film that will be undisputably the best film in the world.
To say that, though, I also don't think it's hard to make a lot of people happy. Because
that's true.
It just goes back to that building block stories, like that simple, like first trilogy really wasn't that complicated. This trilogy, like Force Awakens, wasn't that complicated. Episode 9 is so like you can't watch that film standalone. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like
you can't watch it standalone, but it's basically a standalone film because nothing feels connected. Which is weird.
Both connected to the other two and disconnected.
I guess in name only, to be honest.
Yeah.
But moving on from Star Wars,
that was interesting, guys. I was sat back enjoying that. That could have gone on for days, I reckon.
Yeah.
I felt like refereeing it. I was like, right, boys, half time. Let's go get the oranges.
You need to watch them, man. I would love to watch them with you.
Yeah, I will. I need to watch. Like, I'll be honest with you. I've seen one Star Wars. That's it.
I can't believe that.
So,
Okay.
So it is interesting. But I like listening.
And you call yourself a film fan?
Do you know what? There's a lot of like trilogies and, you know, series of films that people have been asking me to get to the bottom of, and I have been bit by bit. So like Lord of the Rings, I'm on the last Harry Potter now, so I'm getting through them. I've seen all the Hunger Games.
You've seen Jason Bourne?
Not seen any of them. No, I've not seen any Mission Impossibles yet. You know, I've got a way to go. I need to see Toy Story 4 as well.
Toy Story 4, yeah.
I'm excited for that. That's just come out on.
It's
TV.
good. It's
yeah.
Is Bo Peep in it?
She is.
It'll be sick.
Yeah, watch it. But yeah, in other news, while we're on the subject of Disney, they've somehow managed to coax Rick Moranis out of retirement for the latest Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Love him. Dangle him a bit of money, and he'll be out of his cave.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything in like 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
I think I was just having a look then, and the last thing he did was Brother Bear 2.
Yeah. That pretty much says everything.
Yeah.
I love Brother Bear. That popped off, that film. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen it?
It was like my go-to film when I was younger.
So you've seen,
it's number one on his film list.
It's not
I just
quite there.
can't get over the fact that you've seen Brother Bear, but you haven't seen any Indiana Jones.
I don't know.
Or Star Wars.
I'd say I'm into, you know,
Face
underground films like Brother Bear's obviously underground.
films like Brother
You know what I'm saying?
Bear.
I'm so underground, man.
So could you imagine that happening in real life?
What, Brother Bear? Yeah,
Brother Bear?
definitely. Like
Talking bears and that.
that happens. we just haven't seen it
He
yet.
goes to the forest and talks to bears. That's
Did you not know?
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, because there's bears in York.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's well known.
There's loads, yeah.
No, it's a good film. It's a great film. And you know, if you take away the bears and you convert them to humans,
I mean, okay, we'll
you
talk
could have that
about
happen.
films that he's actually good in, like Ghostbusters.
not seen yet. No, it needs to get around to
Somehow,
that.
they haven't coaxed him out for the latest Ghostbusters. But from looking at the trailer, I can see why.
Yeah.
I'm not massively enthused by it. I think I kind of forget that the first two were comedies.
They need to just go back to that comedy, horror, not even horror, like comedy action.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, they've got Bill Murray back in the role, but they don't show him off in the trailer.
yeah.
Like, I think that's a big mistake because he's probably the main draw for the new film.
Yeah. Bill Murray. I mean, talk about Bill Murray, there's that new Wes Anderson film that he's in coming out.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, with Wes Anderson's directing style, everything's in the centre of a frame. And watching the trailer, I was just like, no, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right at all.
It's just very Wes Anderson. Like, he's built his own genre, and I kind of...
Yeah, that's
I
his
like
own
that.
style, so
Yeah.
I
But
respect him for that.
Yeah. Rick Moranis, though, another great film. Flintstones, man. Really good.
I used to love that as a kid. Is that
Yeah.
the John Goodman one?
John Goodman and
Great
Rick
film.
Moranis.
Great film. Not in my top 100, but it's good.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's good.
Definitely doesn't deserve to be in the
Top 300.
Oh.
But I think it's just because you grow and films don't grow with you, and that's one of those films.
It's just a
Is it-
nostalgia piece, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. Is it actually on the list?
Not, well, yes, it's about 350th.
Okay, so you've watched it since the list started.
Yeah. So basically, like,
shit.
just to give you a heads up, so this list is like 5 years old. I've been compiling it for about 5 years. So everything's either that I've gone on a throwback and watched it again, or, you know, it's my first watch. So there are obviously films that I have seen that aren't on there, but I'm just getting back around to watching them.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Flintstones is alright.
yeah, Flintstones was decent. Like, when I was a kid, that shit was great.
Yeah,
but
that
that's
shit
the
pops
thing
off,
with
man.
films like that. They just do what they're supposed to do, and that's it.
But it is a case of nostalgia, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, if I watched it today, I would probably think, why the hell did I used to like this?
Yeah, you can only watch like clips of it.
Yeah, like, I think I used to like The Phantom Menace when it first came out. But, like, watching it now, I'm just like, nah, this is
Yeah.
bad. Except for the, Darth Maul fight at the end.
I like the Darth Maul fight, and is
Don't say pod racing.
pod racing.
Pod racing's the worst. It
Only
lasts
because
like
I played
15, 20 minutes.
the Lego Star Wars, and it's so much pod racing that I think I enjoyed the pod racing in the video game, and when I came to watching the film again, I was like, oh my god, I just feel like I'm in it. Like,
Nah,
but
it's just so bad.
yeah,
But
it is bad. It is bad.
Speaking of good Rick Moranis films, Little Shop of Horrors.
Add to the list. I need to, man.
You're not seeing it?
I'm not seeing it.
My sister
Such a good
was
film.
in a play of that once. I've not seen the film, but I've seen the play that my sister was in, and now I won't see the film. She was only 11, bless her, but she played a plant or something, a Venus flytrap, and the only word she had was "nom."
That's a good word.
She played it well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Played it well. A children's film, or is it?
I don't really know. It's just
story.
a crazy story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit mad, but it's like a comedy film. He plays a florist, like a nerdy florist, and he's trying to find romance essentially. And he has this dream where him and his future wife have like the house with the white picket fence and stuff.
Yeah.
And they sleep in. I don't know why I remember this bit really well, but when they go to bed, they sleep in like separate single beds, but they're like holding hands as they go to sleep.
Oh, that's definitely.
It's kind of like cute romance.
I don't know why that's the bit that I remember from the film. It's been years since I've seen it.
It's just so unorthodox. It's like, hold on a minute, you've got the perfect house with a white picket fence and 2 single beds. What's going on? Buy a double.
Yeah.
Buy a double.
Buy a double.
And then you've got, Venus flytraps eating everyone.
It's probably because it was like a PG film. You can't even do spooning or anything like that, right?
Must be 2 single beds.
Hold hands.
Oh, that's controversial.
Oh, bit too far there.
What's he doing with his other hand? What?
Moving on. We have the official theme song for No Time to Die.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been released by Billie Eilish. What do you guys think?
Honestly, massive fan of music. Not a massive fan of Billie Eilish. I said to you guys before we heard it recently today that I absolutely disliked it. It was awful. That it didn't work. It was an absolute atrocity to music.
Albeit like 10 seconds in.
Then I gave it a chance.
Then he listened to the rest of it.
Actually, do you know what? Like, this is okay. Like, the sound's gone, everything's all right. Just don't think Billie Eilish is ready for it yet. I don't think it's fair to knock her music style. It's just not my thing.
With like modern music, the one thing that I hear is like mumble.
Yes.
Yeah. When people mumble through the lyrics, and that is essentially all Billie Eilish does. I
think mumble it's a hip hop art form, is mumble, and basically
here we go.
Hip hop's quite a dynamic genre in the fact that we will try anything to see if it works. Some stuff sticks and some stuff doesn't, and I think mumble is just a phase. I don't think we'll see anything come of it. But the lucky thing for Billie Eilish is she's got diversity. She can sing.
I think
she can.
Yeah,
so she'll be okay in that sense.
She's got that raw talent, and I think she has that. She's a good lyricist, and I think that with the production involved, with just the music production James Bond can bring to the song, I think it's going to be a decent theme song. Like there have been some really terrible ones in the past. I think this one's going to probably fall somewhere in the middle. And I think it'll do the job for the film. Obviously,
yeah, I think it'll do the job.
That's what I thought when I heard it. I literally closed my eyes. I was like, yeah, you can see the end credits rolling on.
Yeah,
that works for the film.
Opening credits, but yeah, whatever.
Well, it'll come on at the end though, won't it? As well, double play. Get my merch.
All about that.
You never know. Yeah, all about $1.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of her mumbling, but I think when she actually does sing in the theme tune, it's quite good.
Yeah, I think the problem with it, if I was going to criticize it at all, is that it's too low. It's too monotone. I feel like she needs to open up a bit and maybe sooner into the song.
I think that's her though.
Yeah.
She mumbles it very monotone. That's
the thing is,
her style.
You look at every single Bond song, everybody's done it in their way. Do you know what I mean?
No,
so
100%.
like for example, it isn't fair to compare Billie Eilish to Adele because Adele is 1, more mature, 2, her voice is just completely unique.
Well, it's not that. It's just it's really a different type of music that they both sing.
But I dare say that with a bit of maturity, she'll hit them notes.
I think that's just her, though.
She's gonna have to she's gonna have to adapt because mumble's not going to be here forever.
Well, I think that to talk about maybe aside from the music and what it could do for the film, I think Billie Eilish is a good choice right now because she's very popular.
Yeah. She's. I think it's getting that
brings eyes
that younger market in. Because I think James Bond can be associated with something you watched with your dad when you were a kid.
Yeah, I'm sure if you did whatever polling they do for films these days, I'm sure the age range is probably like
The demographics
25
would be
plus
that,
or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's probably a bit older demographic for James Bond.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the younger audience to go, oh, that was good, I'll watch the others. So maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's what they were going for with the whole Sam Smith thing as well, because he was quite current and
Yeah, he
out
was
there.
very current. Well, so was Adele.
And so was Adele.
I mean,
and so was
they always
Madonna.
do something current now that you think about it. Like
Yeah.
Alicia Keys and
Alicia
Jack
Keys
White.
had New York at the time, yeah.
Was New York around the same time? Because
Like-
Quantum of Solace was
Quantum of
2008.
Solace.
When I say New York, this is an old mixtape she had, so
But, like,
Empire State of Mind
Alicia
came
Keys-
later.
Alicia Keys was popping off in the mid-noughties.
The mid-noughties, yeah. So, but
So I think it might be slightly after her time, but I guess Chris Cornell wasn't exactly in the charts when Casino Royale came out, and he did the theme tune for it. So
it's an interesting one. I think it goes hand in hand, but I think it also shows how well James Bond's doing at the time. Because, like, for example, the John Lewis advert, like, do you know what I mean? they go for some sort of
Where
like
we go
whatever
here.
they fancy to fit the music. There's no sort of you're current, you're not. They get the right thing in for that. Whereas with James Bond, I think depending on how much money they plow into it, depends on who they bring in and the size of the star.
I think if you listen to that song, not knowing it was a James Bond theme, you'd be like, oh, it sounds like a James Bond theme. And I think it does the job. Like,
That's the brilliant thing of film and
Yeah,
music and how
that's
it's got
the
its
thing.
place. Like, it's so good that you can listen to a song and go, that's a James Bond theme. Like, that, what a credit that is to a film.
that sounds like it work as a James Bond theme, something like that. Yeah, because I know Muse wrote, I think it's Supremacy as like a James Bond theme.
yeah.
And it totally works. If you play that over any James Bond opening credits, I guess, it would probably work.
Yeah.
And
Because it feels like that style.
Scouting for Girls wrote, I wish I was James Bond just for a day.
That's a perfect Bond theme, yeah.
Why is that not a film? A theme?
Because it's Scouting for Girls. I
Well,
I don't think they were
Yeah.
ever popular enough.
greatest
Yeah.
band on the planet. I've headbanged to that live.
Have you actually seen them live?
5 times. I'm not even kidding. Like, they've been at York Racecourse, so that's why. And like random, everywhere I went, I used to go to festivals. And I'm like, oh, like I'd turn up, like not knowing who was on. I'm like, oh, Scouting for Girls are here. I was like, again. I was like, how have I landed on this?
I think I'd be sick of them by that time.
Mate, I loved it. They're so good live, right? I'm not even kidding. I don't even mind. They're amazing.
Tour as well, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I tour every now and again, but you know, this is a film and TV podcast, and we're really going into a music
Sorry,
side
everyone.
here.
It's Young Skeptics like going on his little musical mission. Sorry about that.
Bringing it back to hip hop.
Yo, listen.
I guess now is a good time to plug your show.
Yeah. So Tuesdays 8 till 10, we've got the Jack and Rob's Big Night In where we will play Scouting for Girls. And on Friday, I've got the hip hop show 10 till midnight, where it's a completely different ball game. And it's just pure hip hop.
And where can you listen to these shows?
One is on HWD Hospital Radio in Dewsbury. And the other one is Jorvik Radio on 94.8 FM. Keep it locked.
Keep it locked to 94.8 FM.
So yeah, available in your car.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, so we'll go back to the news.
Sorry, everyone.
Birds of Prey has had the lowest box office opening for a DC EU film. Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Shocked, to be fair.
I'm not, to be honest.
Mm,
Because I myself wasn't a massive fan of her as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I just think she plays it completely wrong.
I think Harley Quinn as a character is sort of...
And
I don't know. It has a really big following.
yeah, but I think Harley Quinn works best when she's a side character,
Yeah.
not the main character. And because Harley Quinn, when you think of her character, it's always, oh yeah, she's Joker's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Again, though,
I think she's done well by herself, though, in some comics. But I think in the films, she's always done a lot. I mean, she hasn't really been in that many films. Obviously, Suicide Squad wasn't a great start to it. And I thought the trailers for this Harley Quinn film looked all right. But
again, I think it's merchandise that sold that role. I think the amount of people who dressed up as Harley Quinn on Halloween showed there was probably some interest in her as a main character.
There's a lot of interest in her as a character previous to and in the comics and stuff like that. So that added with the merchandising is sort of like let's make a film.
Yeah.
And I think Margot Robbie, she produced the film. She like loves the character, and she sort of went full thrust with it, and it's kind of blown up in her face.
Thrust.
Like, yeah, like
yeah, I know what you mean by that. Like, I think again, it's just another example of a film whereby the interest in the character has come before the storyline, and so they've kind of felt pushed into that direction where they've got to create something for her.
Kind of like, oh, we have to do something with this character now because people are interested.
But everybody's got, like, Harley Quinn is different to everyone else again, so like everyone's got a different opinion of her because she's only been a side character before, like in Suicide Squad and stuff like that. Like, the amount of interest coming out of that film for her because she made it different.
Well, she probably took on more of a main role in Suicide Squad, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's, well, certainly
the
for
problem
me, that's where
with
she came from.
The first Suicide Squad is that the trailer showed off Joker to be like one of the main characters, and he was in it for about 10 minutes maybe at most, because they apparently cut a lot of his scenes.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Leto was very vocal about that at the time, that there was a lot of footage that was left on the cutting room floor, and that he was kind of annoyed that he didn't get his fair share of the show's performance. And I think that maybe to say that I'm surprised that they didn't make that much money, now I think about it, I can't really be surprised. It's sort of just, it's kind of expected.
I am sort of surprised though, in a way, because for me, not really seeing that many like Marvel films and things like that, or films involving characters of this magnitude, to say, everything seems to have done really well. Like, I didn't see the Endgame being like the biggest box office hit of all time or whatever, or anything like that, but people seem to flock to watch these things because, again, they're brand loyalists. So I think she's suffered from the fact that there's been a lot of good films dropped at the same time and no one has the money to go and watch them all.
I'm going to be controversial here and say that I think Margot Robbie is an overrated actress.
She's overrated.
Yeah.
I would agree. I don't think I didn't see I, Tonya, but
I think she proved her worth in Suicide Squad with that character, though.
No, I don't think she's a great actress, to be honest. There's something about her performance that's just like really ham-fisted, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not great. And I think, I think the main reason people flock to her films is the sex appeal.
Yeah,
I think
of that character.
Yeah, no, I will say that there's definitely
of Margot Robbie herself.
I'll say there's definitely that aspect of it.
Well, because I think Wolf of Wall Street probably showed off her as a, I don't want to say these words, but sexual icon.
Well, she's been like that in all the films. I mean, even in About Time, she plays the...
She wasn't in About Time.
No, she wasn't.
I swear she was.
Margot Robbie?
Yeah, didn't she play Tim's girlfriend for the summer or whatever?
But yeah, I can agree with you in that Margot Robbie does have that sex appeal, and it's nothing to take away from her as an actress, but she's also not been in that, like, she's not really been the focus in a film before. She does well playing off other people.
I, Tonya.
I mean, I, Tonya, okay, I can't speak on that because I haven't seen it.
No.
But obviously it's done well. She produced that film. Like, she's very talented, but I just think that character just...
I think the character of Harley Quinn did challenge her compared to playing Charlotte in About Time and...
but yeah, you are right.
In Wolf of Wall Street as well. Like, because those are where she's like just basically, let's not beat around the bush, she got them jobs because she looks attractive, but can act obviously as well. But I think that role of Harley Quinn does challenge her a little bit. I think it is diverse compared to some of the other stuff she's played.
Yeah, it's diverse because it's a completely different thing to what she's done before. But it's still something about the performance that I wasn't a massive fan of.
I also just think a Harley Quinn film isn't a good idea. Like, they should have done like a ensemble, like women's film, or like the what are they called in the DC?
I don't even think we need it, to be honest.
Yeah, we didn't need it. That's the main thing. Whatever it is, maybe it's not Margot Robbie that's probably the main issue. It's probably just the fact that nobody asked for this film.
Yeah, it's the fact that DC basically went, oh, Harley Quinn's got a bit of popularity here, so let's do a film based on her.
I think they let the character go too cold. Like, if they'd have done Suicide Squad, realised the potential of that character, and then dropped the film 3-4 months after, people would have still been talking about it. But I think it's had a couple of years to die down.
No, because then I think they risk having too much of that character.
It's a fine balance.
If they'd released it a few months after. If they'd given it maybe a year after, yeah. Because I think Suicide Squad was, 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it's a while. I mean, it takes a while for films to get made, and especially these kind of things. Like, has a lot of CG budget and stuff like that.
But yeah, you are right. She wasn't in about time. Oh, I didn't even say how much the film actually earned, did I? So it earned $33.3 million in its opening weekend, which is $20 million behind Shazam, which opened at $53 million.
That's not good.
So it's not great, to be honest. But I guess we'll see how it pans out in the end. As much as I haven't really been excited for this film, I do hope it does quite well.
I don't want any DC film to do bad.
Yeah, it's a DC film, and I don't want any of them to lose money. But going on to the next story that we have, still on DC, we got the first look at Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah, boy.
What do you boys think of him as a casted character of Batman?
Great.
Yeah, I think he's a good choice, to be honest.
And why does he suit the roles? Like, because obviously Christian Bale's like unreal, isn't he?
Yeah. So obviously, he's known for being in Twilight.
Yeah. Which,
wasn't a great choice,
but did well, showed popularity.
Yeah. Probably sold a lot of merch as well.
Probably sold a lot of merch. Did sell a lot of merch. Have you guys not seen my t-shirts?
Wearing one right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
But since the Twilight days, his career has changed a lot, and he's done a lot of like indie films, most of which I haven't seen, if I have to confess. But he's received like high praise for his performances.
I mean, in Harry Potter, he was mint.
There's a film that came out a couple of years ago called Good Time, which is really good. It's about it's just really like, it's very far from what he used to do in the Twilight days, and he's grown a lot as an actor. I think there's a film, Vanity Fair, which is very good in, and he's just done a lot of like very subtle roles and just sort of built up his. I think he's an actor who enjoys acting and isn't just there to be in these big tentpole films. He really wants to hone his craft. And
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Lighthouse last year was apparently really well received.
He shows diversity, and that's what you need in a Batman role. Because to be Batman, I've realised, like, having watched The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, things like that, I think it requires a lot of diversity. You need to mould around the villain's character, I think, in order to really personify it properly.
They do say that the reason Batman is so popular as a character is because of his rogues gallery, so all the villains.
Yeah.
But I agree to an extent that you have to be versatile to play Batman, but the way they've done it before is basically you have to be really fit.
Yeah.
Which he is.
I think he has that good balance, man. He's very, like...
I think it's going to make sense, like, him playing a smarter Batman, kind of world's greatest detective.
They need to go to that.
Because Matt Reeves has said that this is going to be more of a like noir film, which is going to be really interesting to see.
They've already cast quite a few of the Rose Gallery, like Paul Dano's playing
Does he play
the Riddler, I think, or
Riddler or Penguin?
I think he's playing Riddler.
He's playing Riddler because Colin Farrell playing Penguin.
Colin Farrell
in Bruges.
Can you imagine Colin Farrell in Batman? That'd be pretty cool.
He is.
Is he? What's
That's what we're just saying.
I thought it was Colin Firth.
No.
Oh my god.
Colin Farrell.
I've lost it.
Right, yeah.
Colin Farrell, yeah. I think
so
I'd
I'd
out
say
of the blue choice, to be fair. Like,
it is a bit of a random choice, but to be fair, his career has proved that he's quite a versatile actor.
Yeah, now that I think about it, he was he was Bullseye in Daredevil.
Oh, you're talking about Colin Farrell? Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, he played Bullseye. Great, yeah. But yeah, I think he's a good actor, and he's starred in a lot of good stuff, like in Bruges and everything like that. So yeah,
I think he'll do well in the film. Like,
yeah,
I
think Robert Pattinson will do well as well because I thought you were talking about him at the time. He's proved that he is a versatile actor, and that he is not just known for Twilight, because he's done a lot of other performances.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not as well known, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think The Lighthouse is going to basically personify that.
Yeah, I think
that he can
I
do.
dare say they would have cast him earlier, to be honest, but for the fact that he'd been in a questionable brand.
Yeah, before the Batman film comes out, he's got Christopher Nolan film Tenet coming out, which he's going to be in. So, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that. It looks really good.
I think there's loads of people you just generically plow in there at like 8-1. Every time there's a new Batman, it's like Idris Elba. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you chuck them generic names out there.
Maybe it's James Bond, but not Batman.
I think he'd be an interesting Batman. You know,
he's quite old, to be fair.
Certainly interesting. Yeah.
I'd tip him for anything.
I think he's in Suicide Squad too.
Is he?
Wow.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
But I
he
think
just
he's
appears
coming
everywhere.
to that age where it's kind of like you can't really commit to these kind of franchises.
Right. Aye. Is there a shelf life then?
Yeah, I mean,
well, as you get older,
young.
you can probably do less physical roles.
Yeah.
Something like Batman is going to be a physical role.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the reasons why Ben Affleck left it.
Yeah, I mean that's Ben Affleck, and then Daniel Craig with the James Bond films. It's going to be his last one. He can't do it. He got the injury last film. So
I don't even know that. That's mad.
Daniel Craig. Yeah, man, it's physically demanding, and it really does like affect the way that you can perform. Like so,
I was gonna do like a ranking of the previous Batman suits, but I don't know if we'll actually have time to do all that. So I've got to pose a question to you too, I guess. Which is your favourite live-action Batman suit so far?
Should I go? I think my favourite one probably is
Bat nipples.
Anything with bat nipples. Oh, just give me a close-up of that. Oh, God.
I'm going for the original. Just because it looked more comfy and practical.
So, but Adam West, 1966?
Yeah, honestly, there was nothing to it. That guy was true ninja. I mean, there was no bulletproofness about that at all.
Okay, I think my favourite one was the
campiness was pretty fun and everything, yeah. But it was just a fun series and a fun film, yeah. Shark repellent bat spray and all that.
It was madness.
And the fact that Cesar Romero wouldn't shave off his tash, so he basically got them to put white makeup over it. Essentially,
yeah.
Brilliant work.
That is just rewatch that. It's just absolute laughs. But my favorite suit is definitely the mech suit in BVS.
Really?
Like, nice. I was thinking about either the mech suit or I just really like Ben Affleck. So either the mech suit or the Nightmare suit.
Okay.
Both.
Right. I'm not a massive fan of the suits when he has goggles.
Oh, I love goggles.
I think the goggles are a bit weird. Yeah. Like, what is he off for a swim?
Yeah.
Something.
It's the practicality of it.
The mech suit, yeah.
Eyes are really important in the Batman thing because you can either go for the sort of just a white lens and whatever goggles or like AI he has underneath that.
Well, the white lens is what we went for with the mech suit, innit?
Yeah.
I think the mech suit's probably the most iconic from the comics.
Yeah, I think it's just
because Dark Knight Returns is such a well-known story.
Yeah.
I'd have to say my favourite's probably the Batman v Superman, like normal one.
Yeah.
Just looks decent.
When he's fighting in that warehouse scene in Batman v Superman in that suit, you need to see it if you haven't seen it, Rob. Like the choreography, just the way the suit works, it's just yeah, so good.
I'd have to say Ben Affleck's probably my favourite Batman as well, and
I can't disagree with you, man. Like,
he's the one casting choice. But when it was announced, I was like, really, him?
Yeah,
but proved me wrong.
That's the best way though. When you get an actor where you're like, that doesn't work off the bat, and it does. You're like, wow, all right.
Because I feel like even the actor is sort of like, you want to prove yourself as Batman. It's such an iconic role, and I hope Pattinson can do that as well.
I think that's the only brand as well where if it wasn't working, they would literally chop that cast member out before it hit the screen. I literally, because it's one of them, it's so delicate because everybody's played it so brilliantly, they would not want a slump on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to know that's going to work before you make that decision.
Saying everyone's played him so brilliantly, George Clooney played him.
Yeah, George
didn't
Clooney.
do the best.
He's not
the best
I mean, he
job.
had a bat
No.
credit card. Like,
From Batley's Bank.
ooh.
So cheesy. Honestly, it was
Ooh.
so
Bat
bad.
credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the APR on that? I might have a quick look.
0% interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the first 15 months.
Yeah, it's great.
Sorted.
I mean,
Well, that sounds good to me. That sounds great.
But yeah, the Robert Pattinson bat suit looks pretty good. It reminds me a lot of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Have you heard the rumor that the actual bat symbol is the gun that killed his parents? That's the stupidest rumor
When
I've
I
ever
heard
heard.
that, at first I was like, okay. And then after that, I was like, that really doesn't make any sense. Like,
Nah.
I think I'm not surprised by it. It's something that like a studio exec would be like, oh, imagine just like grabbing. He uses the gun and he's like, oh, he can't get over the fact that
his parents
his
are dead.
parents are dead. So he like,
so he keeps it as a
keeps
reminder.
it as a reminder, and just happened to be in the shape of a bat. And
Oh, does this mean we're gonna get another version of his parents dying?
yeah, and I'm happy with that
It's
because
just like Harry Potter all over again. Every single film they start off and it's like the events sort of slowly get more and more magnified.
Previously on Harry Potter, kind of thing.
my parents are dead.
My parents are dead.
Well, you get that sort of like background story and then bang, the scene hits, doesn't it?
That's kind of the same thing with Spider-Man, I guess, because they showed off Uncle Ben's death so many times.
I want to see Uncle Ben dead in Marvel, man. I want to see who Uncle Ben looks like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, weirdly, I kind of agree with you.
I need that kind of like he's just the kid, you know what I mean? I need that like.
It's also like a younger version of Aunt May,
Yeah.
so I need to see.
We
who
all
she
know
went
what
for.
Uncle Ben
Yeah.
looks like. You've just got to go and find a bit of rice in the supermarket and you're straight there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I was gonna laugh, but it would have been a pity laugh.
Go for the low hanging fruit, mate. Yeah. Right, so I guess with that terrible joke, we'll wrap this episode up.
Uncle Ben.
Cheers for ruining it, Rob. So do you want to plug your shit again? No? Okay. Well, I've been Josh. You've
Rob.
been...
Young Sceptic.
And you've been...
JC, Josh Campbell.
JC himself.
Yes.
Black Josh.
I always enjoy coming over, man, doing the podcast.
Yeah, I enjoy having you guys on.
Cheers, mate.
Great. Very enthusiastic there, Rob.
Thanks.
Thanks. Great. Yeah.
Pulled the mic out.
I think he's just annoyed because I dissed his last joke.
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.